I'm John Hinkle, the senior pastor of First Presbyterian Church, and this is your Saturday morning preview of your Sunday morning sermon, which I'm filming right around 11:30 on Friday. So it's the summer. Bobby preached last Sunday, which was Memorial Day weekend, and at the end of that weekend marks, for many, the beginning of the summer. And in the life of the church, the summer for First Presbyterian Church really is just the months of June and July, because come August, we're kicking things back up in full gear. Now, usually in the summer in the past, what I would say to our associate pastors is that, because everybody's going on vacation or maybe they're heading to the lake and it's kind of hit and miss when they come to church, instead of kind of preaching a series of sermons, which I doubt people would kind of get in the flow of, I would just tell our ministers, you can preach on whatever you want to preach on. Just fair game. Whatever you want to preach on, you preach on it. And sometimes that would mean, for me, I confess, going to the old filing cabinet and pulling out an old sermon and blowing the dust off and preaching like it was brand new. But this past January, I decided, let's do something a little bit different. So what we're going to do in the month of June and July is we're going to focus on one area of the New Testament. And in this case, it's going to be John's epistles to the ancient church. So it's 1 John, 2 John, and 3 John. Now, there are a lot of things that we're going to get into in the sermon tomorrow. But what I wanted to talk to you today is about what John is focusing us on is he starts his epistles by saying that those who walk with Jesus walk in the light. Those who are without Jesus they walk in darkness. Now, it's important to note here that John isn't writing to anybody about anything concerning anything outside the church. Meaning John is only writing to one segment of the world, and that's those who are in the church. He's not concerned about anybody else. He's just concerned about you in the church. So when he says, listen, if you walk with Jesus, you walk in the light. But if you walk without Jesus, you walk in the darkness. Now there are people who walk without Jesus all the time. But again, he's specifically talking about people within the church who are actually walking away from Jesus. Now it's interesting here because what John says is that if you walk in darkness, you claim you have no sin. And I've been wrestling with this all week long. Well, what's it getting at? If you walk in darkness, you claim you have no sin. Well, have you stood in a dark room? A dark room, no light at all. You can't see, right? You can't. Hand right in front of you, can't see it. So when you walk without Jesus, you do not see your faults and failures. You do not see your brokenness. When you walk with Jesus and thus walk in the light, guess what? Now you can see because you're walking with Jesus. You can see. And when we compare ourselves to Jesus, right, our sins are even highlighted even more. Right? You can't help it. We were in the darkness, can't see. Thus we can't see our faults and failures. Now we're in the light, walking with Jesus. Not only can we see our faults and failures, but compared to Jesus, man, our faults and failures they're troubling. But John says that's actually a good thing, right? It's much better to see your faults and failures. Because if you see your faults and failures, you do what? You know your need to be forgiven. You know your need for forgiven. John says, listen, if you're in the darkness, can't see your faults and failures, guess what? You look at, I was about to say you look at yourself, but you can't see anything. And you say, I'm fine. I'm okay. Nothing wrong with me. But when you're in the light, then you know, because you can see it. An example of this, I would think, I told you about being in a dark room and not being able to see. So if you're in a dark room, you can't see. I can't see my hands. But when the lights are on, I can look at my right hand and I can see. Y'all may not know this, but I have two scars, one here and one here. I got those scars because this heavy iron gate at the old First Presbyterian Church in downtown Dalton was slammed on my hands and busted my fingertips. Blood was everywhere. It was really gross. When I'm in the dark, I can't see those scars. I don't know they're there. But when the lights are on, then I can see it. Then I can see it. And that's what John is getting at. When we're with Jesus, we can recognize our brokenness. But it's not just that we recognize our brokenness. We recognize that it's only through Jesus that we can be made whole again. It's only in the light that we need and see the need to be forgiven. And that's what John offers us. He says, there it is. For you. For you. So Sunday, that's what we're really going to get into. Is we're going to ask that question, because remember, John is writing to us about us. Not anyone else, but us in the church. And the question I think we're left with is, okay, so is what I'm doing